Here we are at Miramar. Oh, nice one.
Martha Washington.
Hello, FlossTube. This is Bonnie Jeanne, also known as PostMuse, and my channel is Postally Yours. And I am very postal themed because I have been a mail enthusiast all my life, and I am 3 years now into a career as a mail carrier, rural mail carrier. But I have been stitching for 40 plus years, since I was very young. And I am very excited to have you with me on my FlossTube number 22. And at the beginning of this FlossTube, I hope that I have managed to insert a couple of pictures of my sisters and I. I have 3 younger sisters, and 2 of them live locally. And I hope I'm able to insert a few pictures of us floating in one of our local ponds. Out on Cape Cod, we have a lot of kettle ponds, and they were formed by glaciers, you know, millions of years ago, not millions of years. I have no idea how long ago it was, but they are very deep and they are very clean, and I love just floating. I love just getting in a plastic in a tube and just going out there and floating. So if all goes well, those pictures will be in the beginning, and hopefully at the end I will be able to insert a picture of a video my sister did of me sitting in the inner tube with a little bit of a cross stitch project. We'll see if I can get that in at the end. I'm still learning all about this. I'm 22 in, but I still don't know it all. So this was the last 2 weeks. I didn't film last week. The last 2 weeks have been particularly difficult at work. It was the holiday, which always makes things hard for everybody, I think. But it's also, we have a lot of people out on vacation, so I have been covering people left and right. And I'm really tired. But I really wanted to do a FlossTube tonight because I have a lot of exciting stuff. And the first of that is I do have a finish. This is Under the Sea by Bent Creek. And it is the first of 2 stitches that will go together. So there it is, my little Under the Sea. And last week I was concerned about this anchor. I didn't know if I needed to couch that anchor line, and I decided not to because once I get this framed, it'll be taut, and I think I like it better kind of loose. Also, there is a sand dollar button that goes right here, or maybe it's over here. I can't remember, one or the other. There's a sand dollar button, and I didn't want to put it on until after I'd ironed this. I haven't ironed it because I need to cut it so that I can use the rest of the fabric for its companion piece, which is called Rowboat, and I hope to start that this week. This is on Atomic Ranch Vapors, 28 count linen. And I really love it. I'm very excited about it. Is it showing up any better? The Vapors is a kind of a blue-gray. It's a very pretty color. So that was very exciting. Once I get that iron, I'm going to stitch that little bow, that little button on. And then I'm going to frame it, and it'll be, I have to get 2 frames because the other one is, it's a companion piece. I'll show that to you so that you can see. So this is the companion piece, Catch the Day. And this is the line, and that'll go down to, that's the anchor line right there. So when I frame them, and hang them up, and it'll look like the anchor line. From here is connecting down to the anchor line and the mermaid piece. So Again, I hope to start that next week. Or this week, rather, this week. I did have 2 new starts this week, so you will get to see those and as they come along. And I had some surprise happy mail too, and I'll talk about that. But the first thing I want to talk about is, so I think I showed last week Stitcher by Luminous Fiber Arts. And I had a happy coincidence where I had fabric that, it's Atomic Ranch, and it's called Bayou. And it's very dark. As you can see, it's very dark. And I'd used this to start on another project, and I wasn't liking it. So I took all the stitches out that I had started before, and I started stitching, and I'm using Classic Colorworks Green Onion, which it's looking a little blue there, but it is more green than blue. And I got just the this is going to be long stitches there for the spool. So this will be, I just got this much done. And I have lots of vintage buttons that I will use to put in there. And what is very cool about this is that I had started this, and I started with the bird because I wanted to make sure that I liked that color, the green onion on this fabric, and I do. However, I had missed a stitch on the bird, so I had to take out all of my stitching. It wasn't that much, but I had to take stitching out, and I thought, okay, well, this is a prime reason to use one of my new finds. These are bulb tip needles, and I have read that it makes taking out stitches a lot easier, and I also read that because it's got a ball tip, it kind of magically finds the hole when you're stitching on dark fabrics. And I thought, oh, that's not going to be true. That's not going to happen. But it did. I was really amazed. It really made taking out the stitches very easy, and it also did magically find the holes on the back of this fabric. I was so totally impressed. However, I used the same needle for about 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, continuously on all of my stitches. And I have to say that one of the needle that I had been using, I'm going to have to throw it away because it is quite worn out. So going forward, I'm definitely not going to replace I have invested so much money in regular John James needles. I am not going to throw them all away and get all of these bulb tip needles because they are expensive. But I am just going to get a couple more cases, and I'm keeping them in the case with one of these little things. I have a magnetic board that I have with me at all times, so it stays in the case on the magnetic board. And I will use those only for when I'm doing dark fabric or smaller counts of fabric. And I'm really impressed. So, yes, a good find. I have another new gadget that I found, and I'll talk about that later too. I'm a real gadget girl. I really, really like gadgets. So I just came home from work a few minutes ago, and I decided to do my floss tube before I got too exhausted. Then I'm going to watch The Little Mermaid on Disney. I need a feel-good movie. And I jumped in the shower as soon as I got home, and I haven't, my hair is a disaster. It's because I just showered and let it dry, and it's all crazy. So I'm going to be, unfortunately, playing with my hair. Then on to the next 2 things. So the next 2 are comfort stitches. As I said, last couple of weeks have been really, really rough. The first one is, both of these I stitched together. I never stitched these separately. They're both remembrances of my mom. I started them both on Mother's Day this year. This is a Bushel and a Peck by La Di Da. And my mom, these are songs that my mom always used to sing to us. So I did some more work. I changed the color of the writing to purple because that's my favorite color. So I just did a little bit more stitching on the words This is on Atomic Ranch Dune. Both of them are on the same fabric. And this, again, was just, this is comfort stitching. This is not a hard stitch. I really needed something that made me feel good this week. So that's Bushel and a Peck. And the other one is Mare's Eat Oats. And this is also by La Di Da. I just love, I just love that this company had two of my favorite songs, my mom's songs, charted up. And again, I changed the color of the words to purple. And there we are in that. Mostly what I stitched this week is just the words. And again, this is Dune by Atomic Ranch, 28 count linen. And then one of the days last week, I worked a fairly short day. I was done by 2:30. So I came home and I was exhausted and I decided I'm going to the beach. And I went to the beach with my stitching and I was there for 4 hours and I just stitched. And this is what I stitched on. Stitching Mends the Soul. Again, another comfort stitch. And so I got the words all done, and then I worked more on the spools and a little bit more on the flower that's growing. And it was very calming. Very, very calming. 4 hours I sat there and stitched. 4 hours, a lot of people would have got a heck of a lot more done, but there were sharks. No, not sharks. There was a shark. I saw a shark, just the fin. I was just sitting on the, I didn't go in the water. Waves were a little bit too much for me, so I didn't go in the water, but I did see a shark. And it did get a little bit cold. It did rain a little bit, but I have a beach chair that has an umbrella that, well, a canopy that goes over it. So I was able to stay there even though it was just a little bit of rain. But it was very much needed. That was 2 weeks ago that I spent the 4 hours at the beach, and then this week was when I got my sisters, both my sisters, to go floating with me at the ponds. Neither one of them are much for the water or for beaches, and I didn't think I'd get them ever to go with me, but they did, and we had a lot of fun. The next thing I worked on was Magic Garden Sampler. This is by Shakespeare's Peddler. And I got the surprise, this is I didn't stitch a lot on it. This is a much bigger, much more detailed stitch than I thought it was going to be. The border, it's not exactly the same, although the little flowers are, but I'm over here on this. I just was going out of my mind with this. This is on Atomic Ranch Morning Lilac. You can't see, but it is purpley. It is a very purpley color, very light purple. But this is going to take me a long time. This is much more detailed and much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I have plenty of fabric. I always have plenty of, well, I shouldn't say always, because I think I might have made a mistake with another stitch that I'm not looking at right now because I can't deal with it. But yeah, so it's going to be beautiful when it's done, but man, it's a lot of work. The next one I worked on was TopKnot Stitcher, and this is called Make Waves. And this is stitched with some variegated floss and then some DMC. And even though I'm going to absolutely love this when it's done, I'm gonna really adore it. It is so boring to stitch. So that's all I've gotten done, most of the I stitched on this for a very long time. This is on Wichlet Vintage Country Atlanta, 32 count Lugana. the little ballpoint needle helped with this too. I really liked it. But so it's just a lot of the it's just not a fun stitch. I'm going to enjoy stitching the little crab, but I'm going to love it when it's done. I'm going to love it also because my grandchildren are all very sports minded, and their team mascot is a wave. That's their slogan is the waves. So that's kind of what I was thinking of when I got that pattern was my grandkids, all their sporting teams. And then the next one was just another comfort stitch. This is a lot of comfort stitching last week. This has been Creek, and it's each day. Each day provides its own gifts. Couldn't read that backwards. And I am stitching this on Atomic Ranch. You're going to get tired of me hearing me say Atomic Ranch. I have a lot. I love Atomic Ranch. This is Primrose. It's a very light yellow. And that's all I've gotten done with it. So I love this soil, so to speak. This is the water here. There'll be a sailboat over here. Let me see the yellow. No. I need to study up on how to, or what kind of light I need so that my colors look normal. And then my next stitch, I pulled out, so I had a whole bunch of stitches that I showed that were neglected works in progresses from years ago. And I said a couple of weeks ago, I said that in September I was going to try to make a point to touch all of them. I think there are about 26 of them. So this is the first of the ones that were neglected. This is Mill Hill kit called Post Office. And it's on perforated paper. And I started stitching it, and I pretty much took the piece of perforated paper and threw it across the room. I don't like how the stitching looks. It's meant to be. It's stitched with 3 strands of DMC. It's too clunky. It's too thick. I just don't like it. But I do have that fabric from the stitcher, the first one that I showed, that dark brown fabric, Atomic Ranch Bayou. That will be, I will have plenty of that left over. I'm going to stitch this Post Office on fabric. And I'm going to use my usual 2 strands over 2. And I think I'll like it a whole lot better. So I'm not going to throw the chart or the beads or all of the floss away. I am just going to throw away that stupid. And I've stitched on perforated paper before, but I think it's just the 3 strands and the brown. I didn't like the brown perforated paper. I like white perforated paper better. So it was a learning thing, and I'm glad I did it. But it's going away. Or the brown perforated paper. The next one is another one of the fabric. I'm going to put a little sticky note on my computer that says, "Don't say because I say that all the time. And I've heard other people talking about stitchy nose, and I've seen myself do that too, try to scratch my nose, so I'm really conscious of that. So anyway, the next thing I have is Snapperland. This is another one of the neglected works in progress, and it's by Bent Creek. And it's a series of 4 designs. I have one for each season, and you stitch them in a frame that goes across, and I don't know the name of this fabric. This was like one of the very first overdyed fabrics that I ever bought in my life. I was so proud of it. So this one says, "One kind word can warm 3 winter months." And I worked a lot on the ice skating rink there with a little cute little skater in there. And then over here there's going to be a sleigh drawn by a horse. So I have the first one almost completed. There's some details, there's some white in there that I haven't stitched yet. That's the skater. And then this is going to be the horse-drawn carriage. And then the last one is a little chalet. Oh, villa. It's a villa. The first one's a chalet. So I'm pretty pleased with how it's coming out. I'm not putting any lines in between. I'm going to connect the snows so it looks like one complete scene rather than 4 separate scenes. I really like it. I think I stand a chance of finishing this one this winter, which would be very cool because this is one of my really old whips. So this dates back to, I think it's 2005. I didn't buy it in 2005. I think I bought it in 2010 or so, but still, that's 13 years ago. So, really happy to get that one out of, completed. And my next whip is another one that I am closing in on finishing. This is Lucy Bean, and it's called, Immortal. And all I have left is to finish the borders. This is on Atomic Ranch Amber Waves. This is one of my favorite fabrics. That's photographing, very nice. This is one of my favorite colors and one of my favorite fabrics. So as you can see, I got the border pretty well stitched. I need to put the flowers in there, do a little bit more green, and then I'm going to do it on the bottom. And that'll be all done. And my plans for this is that it will be my very first me-made project bag. So that's what I'm going to be using that for. And I'm going to do it vertical. I'm going to do the project bag vertically rather than horizontal. I'll put the zipper at the top of it because most of the time, most of my fabric project bags are these bags here. So I have a little sticky note up there, and this is how I store them. Well, the zipper down, and I store them in a basket like that so that my cat, who loves to pull zippers and chew on zippers, can't get the zipper. So I think all of my project bags will probably be oriented this way. I know that makes it harder to get everything inside it, but it'll be fine. I might change my mind too. I'll play with it. And another one that I pulled out of the neglected whips is from last year's, was called Cross Stitch the Rainbow. And it's Mum's the Word by Pixie. And I thought this was going to be this, it's got really, really, really fancy floss. It's by, I've forgotten the name of the Cottage Gardens, but it's very, very, very pretty floss. And I thought this was going to be such a fast stitch. I'm stitching it on pre-mounted Ada, and that's all I got done. I had the in there previously, but so I have to stitch all the mums and then the little designs that go out to the corners. When I picked this up to start working on it, I thought, I'll finish this tonight. Whew. Not so much, but it's fun. It's an enjoyable stitch, so that's fine. And then my first new start for the last 2 weeks is by, again, Luminous Fiber Arts. It's called Happy Halloween. It does have a chart for Happy Halloween or Happy Autumn, I guess. I think you can do it as, Happy Autumn. But I like the Halloween. I don't typically do very many Halloween or Christmas stitches. But this one I couldn't resist. So I was saying in my last thing that the threads for this are like a pumpkin spice latte, which I don't drink. I don't like pumpkins. I don't like flavored coffees. But the threads all kind of made me think of that. I'm stitching this on Alchemy, and that is by, oh, I had forgotten. I think it's Picture This Plus. I didn't write it down on my little thing. Anyway, that's all I've gotten done on it. I think it's Picture This Plus. I'm almost positive it's Picture This Plus. So I just got one owl outlined a little bit, and then I started on the second owl. This will be fun. This is a fun stitch. Don't know that I probably won't have it finished before October 31st, but I'm enjoying it. I started stitching this because there is a Facebook group, and if I can figure out how to get the link, I will post it in the description below. There's a Facebook group that does a lot of Zoom stitching together, and they have one on Wednesday nights that is only spooky kind of stitches, and I don't do a lot of really spooky stitches, so that's as spooky as I get. And then the next one is another one that I pulled out of retirement, so to speak. It was in the bin of neglected whips. This is Hand Blessings. This is Kitty in the Window, and this is the spring version. I have all 4 seasons, and I did quite a bit of work on this. The last time you saw it, I think I only had a little bit of the window frame done, a little bit of the lace curtain. So I am closing in on this. This fabric is Picture This Plus Mercedes 28 count linen. It's perfect for this picture. So this will be all green down here. I have more leaves and flowers to put in up here. There's a very elaborate border that goes along the side. And it is supposed to have that little charm. I've misplaced the charm on this one. I have the charms on the other ones, but I don't think I'm going to use it because I want to frame these under glass in kind of like so that it looks like the picture is framed in a window. And I know that charm won't work underneath glass. So I don't think I'm going to use the glass. And then my last whip is one I just started. This is for a new stitch along, and I said last week I wasn't going to join any more stitch alongs, and I'm not, but except for the kinds of stitch alongs where it's like it's ongoing and there's no and it's not a mystery. I don't want any more mystery stitch alongs. This photo is not going to show well. This is Little House Needleworks. They have one for all seasons. This is the ABCs, and down the side here are the ABCs, and there's some words, you'll see when I show you, there are some words that go with each letter of the alphabet, and then there's a lot of little winter motifs. Now, this is a stitch along that's with Kensington Cross Stitch, which I will try to link below. And it is hashtag a year of ABCs SAL. And the big thing about this is that I am stitching this on 20 count Aida, 1 strand over 1, brand new thing for me. I've never done that before. And I'm stitching it on, I'm pretty sure this is Fiber on a Whim Cobalt. So as you can see, so this one down here is going to say, I think it says Frost. The F says Frost. I'm not 100% sure, but it's so tiny. It's going to be so tiny. So for the month of September, we're stitching the A through I. So I'll stitch all of the letters down to I, and then some of the word, not every letter has a word. and then the words, and then the motifs that go with it. But I love this. I am so pleased with this. And I love this color. This is going to be perfect. The only color that I was really worried about is that because it's a holiday stitch, there's red. And I was really worried about the red on this blue. But it's a very, it's licorice red. And it's a very pinky red. And it's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine on this. So it's just a lovely, lovely stitch. So we're doing the winter one now, and then so next month, so we'll finish this, and then we'll start on spring. And again, it'll be, you know, certain number of letters. It'll be three starts. So 4 starts because there's 4 seasons. So it'll be for the entire year. So every 3 months we will be changing to a new start. So that is it for my works in progress and my new starts. I also got, like everybody else, the just cross stitch Christmas ornament. I don't typically stitch I don't stitch ornaments very often at all. Any kind of ornaments, Halloween, Easter, none of that. I'm not much for celebrating holidays. But look at all those tags. There are so many charts in here that I love. This is just a small selection. I doubt I'll stitch them this year. But this was like, everybody's been saying it. It is an amazing, amazing issue. And if you haven't got it, I recommend going out and getting it. And then the other thing that I got this week is another new to me gadget. This is called Needle Park Avenue. So what you do is you write with Sharpie, then fine Sharpie, the design or the number, I guess, or the name of your fabric, and on the symbol on this thing here, and you can erase it off with 99% rubbing alcohol, and your needle sticks right into that little felt, and it has a magnet on the back. I don't remember who showed this in one of the floss tubes, but as soon as I saw it, I went hunting for it. I wanted to make sure that I got it from the designer, and she's an Etsy designer. Her name is Designs from Margaret Lee. So I got a few of them, and I will post a link in my description below. I think this is going to be wonderful for, I don't do a lot of big projects with lots of thread changes, but when I do, this is going to be very helpful. So you just use it like a needle minder. So you take the magnet off the back and then put it behind your fabric, and then it sticks right to your fabric. I really think that's going to be cool. So the last thing I want to show is some very special Happy Mail. A couple of my subscribers who wish to remain anonymous got my Stitch 123 wish list, and they gifted me a lot of fabric. Now I'm hoping that this shows during with the lighting, but there are, oh my gosh, so many. Most of them are fiber. There's one that's not fiber on a whim, but most of them are fiber on the whim. And this one is 16 count brick, 20 Ada, 16 count Ada. That does show up nice. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. This one is Affogato, and this is a 28 count linen. Oh, that's showing up nice too. Although it kind of looks a little green there. It is not. It is very much Affogato, which is a coffee. When COVID first hit, that was avocado. I believe that's the coffee that's like, it's got ice cream in it. And I think I lived on that. And then this one is also 28 count, and it's called Cypress. Yeah, there it is. It's beautiful green, a very neutral green. Then this one is 28 count. It's called Heather. And I love purple. I didn't realize I had so much fiber on a whim in my wish list. And this is 28 count, and it's called Hydrangea. So that's very, very, not neutral purple, as opposed to the Heather, which is more of a more neutral purple. That's gorgeous, though. Isn't that pretty? Maybe thinking like a summer stitch on that. This is 28 count Blueberry. This is 28 count Lugana, and it's called Plum. I love purple, you can tell, right? This is 32 count Lugana, and it's old gold. It looks very green here. It is not. It is very definitely gold. Very definitely gold. This is just gorgeous. I have an idea of what I want to stitch on that, but I'm not going to make any choices. And the last one is by Crosswing Collection. I love their fabrics. I don't see it very much of it, and it's not going to photograph well. This is also called Blueberry. It's blue and purple. Oh, I guess you can see it. It's very, very pretty. I love their fabric. Is it the 28 count Lugana? Yeah, 28 count Lugana. So, thank you very, very much, ladies. I am very, very, very appreciative for all of that fabric. And I wanted to, end by asking everybody if they have a favorite designer. I tend to, I have a lot of Atomic Ranch because I belong to the Atomic Ranch Fabric of the Month with Stitch New England, my local needlework shop. And I don't know that I want to join another monthly because I don't want to get a lot of neutrals. I like lots of bright colors and so forth. But I just wanted to know what other people think about what fabric designers, what fabric dyers they really like. Are they on Etsy? Do they have their own website? I'm looking mostly for U.S. based because I think the shipping would be outrageous for international shipping coming into the U.S. But I really want to build up my fabric stash. I have plenty. I did very well. I did not buy any more charts this last 2 weeks. So I did very, very well. And I want to continue that. I want to stitch what I have and try very hard not to buy any more new charts. I know I will, but I'm being a lot more circumspect about what I'm buying. So just tell me what your favorite designers are. Fabric designers are. I'm really interested because I'd like to broaden my horizons, get a few more different designers in here. So thank you all very much. I'm glad you watched, and hit the like button, subscribe, and I hope to see you all next week. I'm hoping that, I have one more week of craziness, and then hopefully it'll settle down a little bit. But thank you all. Happy stitching. Bye.